8, 7, 6,
Seven,
5,
six,
4,
five,
3,
four,
2,
three,
1.
two, 1.
While doing this countdown, I try to visualize uska count so that I keep up the sync. वरना मैं डिसोरिएंट हो जाता हूँ तेरे काउंटिंग से. Like we do have that like
That's
natural instinct.
interesting.
Like when we are walking and सब 5 लोग walk कर रहे हैं and their footsteps are kind of out of sync, but eventually it like you try to sync it your footsteps. Do you ever like see that like subconsciously you try to sync up your footsteps?
Yeah, like sync to what? Like to for them to be more uniform.
Like each step is taken together, and I've seen it more in staircases. If I am climbing upstairs with someone, eventually my like when I take put foot on a stair, at the same time the other person will like put the his foot and it is matched kind of. Anyway, that's a weird tangent. तू क्या पूछ रहा था? मेरा
Yeah, do you wanna share your YouTube music?
wait, YouTube music what?
Corrupt.
I don't
जो
think
भी आया होगा.
I didn't check it and I don't think there would be anything interesting because I barely listen to any music like at all.
Still worth checking out. मैं अपना शेयर करता हूँ तो अपना का है. I mean, to be fair, I stopped using Spotify like about 5-6 months ago. I moved to Apple Music since then.
Oh,
Like one thing about Spotify is that it definitely does these rap things much better than everyone else, and it's weird.
I don't see any rapped or anything, at least on the YouTube
Okay.
Music UI.
Never mind then. The main thing I was trying to bring us to anywhere was this.
What are you sharing? Oh, Slice of the Lifeless rapped. Let's go.
We looked at it last year too. I think पिछले साल से तो हमारी viewership गिरी ही है. And like, but still, let's see. I don't think there would be anything to see यहाँ पर.
Quite the year for
This
you.
was quite the year for you.
What the hell? ये पूरा year खत्म भी हो गया. That's wild.
A little proof that hard work pays off. Total audience
What?
90% more.
I don't believe this. What? That's bullshit.
I don't believe this either. 57% increase in audience. Total new audience.
तो ये क्या total audio?
Total audience. Or you, अच्छा,
हाँ.
like rate of growth, I guess. This is supposed to be the rate of growth.
And what's that 90%?
Like this is speed. This is acceleration.
Oh. Okay.
Total
Follower.
followers.
What's
Wait, what
that?
was that? Increase in total listening time 10%. This year, one episode rose above the rest. Which one is it?
Huh? That's so funny. That's so funny. New Year special.
I did. That was a really long episode, and we were on a streak of making really long episodes. And that was. From what I remember, I enjoyed recording that episode.
Yeah. We did.
And
we did that thing, right? In which we made predictions for this year.
Yeah. इस बार के New Year special में look into that.
Mm.
Uh, okay, wait, where is it? We are still like, but this does show that we have fallen off.
Yeah.
The first episode of the year was the
Peak of the year.
still quoting it.
Yeah,
Your listening passport got a real workout. 8 countries overall reached. I don't believe you.
Turkey? What? Australia?
What the fuck?
What?
That's weird. Top fans assemble. Your
11?
your top 10 shows for 11 fans. I guess we our friends are not that much of podcast listeners, I guess. Spotify. Your number one show for 9 fans. This is the only podcast they listen to. Your top fans streamed 10 times more than everyone else.
I
Binge
would
2
that
episodes.
there is no way that is true, because that is like 4 to 6 hours of listening to the podcast in a single
What
day.
do you think Pranat be doing
Oh,
during his day? Cranking these numbers up single-handedly. Yeah, it goes without saying your fans have a great taste. Oh, this is something they had last year too. This is an interesting thing to look at. Like, oh man. Okay, this is Bhatura.
yes. Kendrick Lamar, I can
This
see
is
multiple
this is
people.
me,
Huh.
I guess. This is. I can imagine this being Varun.
No, I think this is Bhatura too. He did like Taylor Swift, right?
Oh, this could be like Yash, and this is probably Samiksha and Varun. Wait, let me take a screenshot of this. This is kind of funny. Oh man. Wait, wait, how do you capture it? एक तो there's this AI bullshit. Wait. I need to take a screenshot of this too. Screenshot में AI why? Why do they need AI in screenshotting, man? Top shows. Wait, what?
Is this not like kind of like breaking their privacy? It is showing us what they listen to.
Because I mean that's true because that's only true because we have a very small audience of just our small number of group of friends. I don't think it will still be true. Wait, what is this? Top shows.
How do they know?
Does it mean like wait? Do they mean to say this is what our friends listen to?
I don't think.
Who's listening to this? What? That's weird. You might want to frame this.
Oh. 79% of other shows. इतना बुरा कर रहे हैं लोग इस पे.
It's over.
This kind of makes me feel like the proof that statistics can be misleading.
I guess, yeah, incomplete statistics. Like, they are like, I mean, but like, it's kind of a. Because we are very aware of people not listening, nobody's listening to this thing. And also, I guess their primary motivation is to keep people motivated, keep like motivate people. They're not trying to give you the statistics that would make you feel bad.
Yeah,
So they're sort of giving you incomplete information. Yeah.
that was fun.
एक फैन था हमारा, उसने भी सुनना बंद कर दिया है.
Oh, कौन
भटूरा.
बंद कर दिया सुनना? No.
I don't think he listens to it anymore.
We have to step it up.
Yeah. Like, yeah. That was that. How's life going with you?
It's been pretty wild, I would say. These past 2 weeks is when I started using my new desktop. And honestly, this might be the best thing. Like, best product I have ever got my hands on, kind of. कैसे put करूँ इसको मैं? Best return on investment? No. Most impactful thing I have got. क्या बोलूँगा इसके लिए? Anyways, I started doing game development. I'm just learning.
Oh, yeah.
हाँ, अभी बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं कर रहा, अभी बस मैं ट्यूटोरियल वगैरह देख रहा था थोड़ा बहुत. आई थिंक आई विल टेक माई टाइम विद इट. अभी कोई स्पेसिफिक प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करने के बजाय आई विल जस्ट लर्न डिफरेंट स्टाइल्स, कैसे क्या काम करता है, UI, मेक ट्यूटोरियल लेवल्स एंड स्टफ. आफ्टर दैट
What are you using?
Unity.
And what was that website you shared with us? I was confused.
Unity
by it.
web, I think वो उन्हीं का
So
है.
like you just publish it on their server?
Yeah,
Ah.
that's pretty good. I think if I want to share any project I have made on Unity, like it won't reach, I don't think, like proper commercial जैसे game publish होते हैं. It's not for that, but just sharing among my friends, that is very convenient. They can directly play on the browser. If you want to
Yes.
get into game dev, I would recommend using Unity. It seems pretty polished for starting out.
I don't plan to get into it right now, but I do kind of have to get into coding again, sort of, a little bit. I think I talked about it previously too, right?
हाँ,
To design my experiments, like it's different labs do it differently, but at this particular lab they do it in JavaScript. But you tell me ki how's Unity going?
I haven't explored it much. You said you want to get into coding. For that, I have to say that it is not necessary that you have to know coding for game dev. Like the tutorial I created, it was entirely without any coding involved at all. It is entirely from
But
presets and stuff.
yeah, I guess that makes things convenient. But like, I don't think that like the problem is that I'm overestimating how much work it is going to be to learn it, because I feel that even if I try to estimate it, I would probably be underestimating it. And this thinking, and now that I'm saying it, is the definition of overestimating it. But,
Yeah.
but like, I just have so many things to do right now. I don't think I have the time to.
Yeah, I'm saying that's fine, but if you do decide to get into it someday, I'm saying you should know that it is not that code heavy. Like in its current state, there is so many assets, presets present which you can use, and, and tutorials for it, that there is not that big of a learning curve. At least from like getting into the stuff and start creating stuff, there is not very big of a learning curve there.
And
Of course, like there is advanced stuff which might require a lot of knowledge, but if you just want to get started, it's not that difficult.
And yeah, one could say that getting into it is the most like challenging part of the process. I mean, I'm sure there are more frustrating parts ahead, but like just getting a hang of it, I guess. Like getting.
Like it's the opposite of my experience with Adobe and Photoshop. Like Adobe Audition, when I started using it, there was a learning curve, right? That I have to understand how the tools worked and stuff. That was difficult. Also, when I used Krita, right now I got Photoshop from that pirate bundle, but
No. You bought it legally.
yes, I was just joking, of course. But when I used Krita, there was such a huge learning curve on understanding how the brushes work and how to move around. That was really difficult, and it really scared me for a long time, and like kind of stopped me from properly getting into it. But my experience was complete opposite with Unity. I have used Unity in college, and they have such nice tutorials available online and even in the interface, and it makes it really easy to get started. Yeah. But anyways, other than game dev, I also started playing actual games.
Damn.
What happened?
No, I was just reacting to. I was actually looking for Mira Steam because I've Mira Steam Deck because I think I've been playing some games I just didn't remember to both. I need to look at it too.
I feel like Dark Souls is a game which is made like for me. Like it is the best, not the best, like the proper game for me. मेरे लिए ही बना है ये गेम. I am the target audience. Everything about it. उसका जो पूरा environment है, उसका I really like its environment and its bosses and enemies, and the creativity of how you can build your character and how you can tackle enemies, and also the difficulty of it, like how many retries and the learning curve and like practicing and all that stuff. It fits me very nicely, like my interest nicely, and I've been really enjoying it.
I did kind of. It doesn't surprise me. Like it's like that game has a very particular mood to it. Like, regardless of the cool mechanics and carefully designed enemies, वगैरह, it just has this. The entire game has this mood to it, which Vidhu also loves this game. He describes it as almost comforting.
It does feel comforting. And one thing about which I like really about this game is that it is not forgiving. If you make a mistake, you get punished for it, and you get punished for it hard. So it kind of like that kind of pisses me off in other games. Like uh, sometimes you're going through levels and stuff, and you just feel like even if you make mistakes or do anything, you'll pass through it anyway. I'm not explaining it properly. मतलब basically जैसे मैं गेंशिन में खेलता हूँ, इफ़ यू रीच अ सर्टन लेवल, पूरा जो अर्ली गेम एनिमीज इतने होते हैं वो ट्रिवियल लगने लग जाते हैं, एंड इट जस्ट फील्स फ्री एंड यू जस्ट नीड टू लेवल अप एंड स्टफ. इस गेम में इवन इफ यू लेवल अप लाइक 30 लेवल्स, बट जो पहला एनिमी जो तुम्हें मिला था, if you play it incorrectly, the enemies in Dark Souls can parry you, like you can parry them, and they can one shot you. That killing blow, if you like miss your timing, they can parry and one shot you, the first initial enemy of the game, no matter how late game you are. So like you always have to be careful, and not just careful, like it kind of adds a realism to the game ki it is kind of a brutal world that you are playing in, and I really like
think
that.
The developers of this game took some direct inspiration from Berserk.
Oh,
And like some people say that like this game is the closest to any other piece of media capturing the feeling of Berserk.
Berserk is a very very old manga, huh? I can see that, because in my mind Dark Souls is also a very old game, but it is not as old as Berserk.
Dark Souls is not that old, man. It's like 2012 or something.
Wait, what? When was it made?
2012 or something like that.
That is remastered, not the original Dark Souls.
Wait, when was Dark Souls made? 2011. Remastered 2018 में आया था.
Oh, wait, what? 2011? I mean, I guess that is 13 years ago, 14 even.
But like within our generation and how we talk about games, I don't think we would call like a 2011-12 game an old game.
Yeah,
maybe we would.
I thought it was an old game, like as old as Zelda.
You thought this was like 80s or 90s or something?
Not that old, but like early 2000s. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess release date 2006. Yeah, you see that my favorite game is 2006, so I thought it was from that era.
Wait, where is it? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying Dark Souls a lot. Me and Varun started playing Minecraft, and that did not go very well, honestly.
Did not go well?
Yeah, I feel like it is a game that you either play solo or if you're playing in co-op, you need more than 2-3 people. Then it would be fun. It is not very like it does. Two people does not make much difference. Like from a solo run is what I'm trying to say. If either you have a lot many people that you don't need to interact with each other and you can like all do your stuff and build your base and that kind of thing, or either you're playing solo. I think in two players it becomes kind of awkward that you are doing your own stuff which you could have done in solo, but you feel the need to interact with the other person and like make them feel yeah, we are playing together, but there's not much to do together. So there is that kind of awkwardness, which was happening in the case when I guess you were in the call, right, when me and Varun were playing. I was
Varun didn't seem to be enjoying it too much.
yeah, I mean, he was kind of acting like it because he kept dying in the underground mine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you, like if you're trying to find resources quickly, it is more efficient to split up, but then you get lost in there very easily, and it is like at the early game is kind of unforgiving in Minecraft. So unless you get a good armor, you can die very easily.
Yeah, I remember the time you carried me in Terraria. I only enjoyed that game because I was playing it with you, and that game is kind of designed for you, for people like you.
Yeah. Yeah, that becomes a thing for these kind of games. Ki there are players who like the games to relax, and then there are tryhards like me who enjoy suffering.
Like even to like relax, I think it's like a combination of both for you, right? You need to start that game with this straight up exploration, and over time you develop this, this aim of like over time you develop a sense of direction.
Yeah. And like the thing is, in these games, an intended mechanic is that you like die a lot and restart from the beginning. Like even in Dark Souls, there is that mechanic, right? That it is intended for you that you will die, you will learn, and you will try again. And same thing was in Terraria. Like there are difficult monsters which you try fighting, you die and try again. And same thing is in Minecraft. Well, Minecraft is much more casual, but still. But if you're somebody who gets stressed out upon like getting killed by a mob, then you won't enjoy the experience that much.
I mean, yeah, I really want to get into Dark Souls again because I was enjoying it a lot. I just cannot deal with it, man. I just cannot find the. It does kind of like. I don't know if it frustrates you at all or not to just do that same thing. It feels nice to make progress, but at the same time, just doing it over and over when you're already being beaten up in life.
I like that. Like I might sound like a masochist, but I like that in games, like trying again and again and having a huge challenge.
It makes sense.
But not always. Like sometimes I don't enjoy it, and in that time
there is a method to that madness.
Oh, yes.
Like I guess like not every difficult game is Dark Souls. Like after Dark Souls, a lot of games have tried to create this Souls-like genre. Like it's become an entire genre of games, Souls-like, and it's rare, very rare that a game is able to make something of quality which is comparable to what these people make.
And it also depends on like how consistent am I actually improving, because like I was playing GTFO with Varun on one day. uh, have I talked about GTFO? I guess not, right? So in this game, like we are dropped inside a facility in which there are like monsters, and the way you fight them is with guns. uh, and I used to play shooter games. I was okay at it, but I never really enjoyed that much the shooter games kind of, and that kind of skill like aiming and taking cover and doing all that. I never enjoyed it. So like GTF was also a difficult game. So we were dying a lot and we had to restart a lot, but I was not enjoying that because I was not enjoying the learning curve of that aiming aspect of skill. Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. Ki I do like challenges, but like it depends on what I'm improving upon and what I'm trying to do again and again. What kind of challenge it is.
You've made a lot of progress in the game, right?
Dark Souls, yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'm halfway through. I've killed like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something bosses.
There's I would I know I haven't even finished Dark Souls yet, and I already have these games in mind that I want to play by like other games by From Software. Okay. After Dark Souls, I don't feel that interested in playing Dark Souls 2 and 3.
Ah, wait, really?
I want to play Bloodborne though.
Oh, Bloodborne is, yeah, pretty acclaimed, I guess, similar to Dark Souls.
But the problem with Bloodborne is they never fucking released it for PC.
Wait, what? Really?
Abhi tak.
I did look
was
it up
released for
actually.
PlayStation in 2015.
Like when I was looking into it, and I did look up Bloodborne on Steam, and I was confused why it was not there.
But now it makes sense. PlayStation has this thing of exclusive games. I think like another अभी Nintendo Switch 2 आया ना,
Huh?
so like one of the games it is like it advertised during launch was a From Software exclusive, which is which is a huge deal for people who love these games.
I don't get it though. Like I never thought about it as a child, but now that I think about it, what is the like difference in hardware between a powerful PC and a PlayStation? Like what does PlayStation have different than a PC?
Wait, you think that it was released on PlayStation because PlayStation is powerful?
No, like I'm talking about an unrelated thing. Like on hardware level, what's the difference between a PC and a PlayStation? I know
No,
a
you're
lot.
wondering why would you buy a PlayStation at all?
No, I'm not questioning. Like that can be a further argument, but I just don't know. Like I never questioned it before. Now only I'm thinking about it. Like what exactly is different in PlayStation, which separates it from a PC? I know like it does
It's
not have an operating system and stuff, but like what it does have that a PC does not have.
like hardware wise, it only has less, from what I understand. There's less, like it's usually less powerful than a PC you can build, custom PC you can build, and it's usually, uh, of course, it's less customizable. Like it's supposed to work out of the box, and you cannot upgrade stuff and that.
Like what's the point of a
The
PlayStation? Now that I think about it, I don't. It doesn't make sense.
It will also bring us to, I guess, this recent announcement of the Steam machine.
Oh.
Uh, the appeal of a PlayStation is playing games in your living room.
Uh huh.
It's like you don't want to play games on your PC, sitting on a chair and a table, एक जगह पे जहाँ पे बैठ के you want to lay back on your couch. You want to have a dedicated machine for playing games on your TV in your living room, and that's the convenience, I guess, PlayStation offers. It offers this like convenient operating system जहाँ पे you can, it only exists to play games. It's easy to use, it's quick to use. That's all there is to it.
That feels like a luxury, I guess, luxury item kind of.
Yeah, I mean it is, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, like uh, like some people, I can see why people need that. Like uh, I guess like a lot of people don't want to be having fun on the same stuff they work on.
Huh, I can
If
see
you know
that.
what I mean.
Yeah,
They want to separate those spaces.
I get that.
Please provide the list of places you would like to separate.
I don't know what the fuck would you activate हुआ.
But I feel like a normal person should not buy PlayStation or any of those consoles.
Like one of the ways Xbox and PlayStation, these things, they uh, sell themselves is how we are talking about it. Like these exclusive games. Like this is Bloodborne is a PlayStation exclusive. Uncharted was a PlayStation exclusive. I'm having a really difficult time saying PlayStation exclusive. As the Spider-Man games, they were PlayStation exclusives. Even though they have recently started releasing them on PC after a few years, there's still that appeal of like people want to play them as they're released, right?
But that's. I feel like making them PlayStation exclusive is kind of restricting your audience to very few people who do. Like,
I mean,
I get in the
I
older
think like
times,
that
you know.
they get.
Like, I don't think people used to have these powerful PCs some time ago. I think it is only a recent thing. I'm not sure about this, but like I'm saying, like proper gaming PCs, that kind of thing is has emerged in the recent times, right?
Yeah, that's true too. I guess these consoles come from a time where PC gaming wasn't really a thing.
But I think in this time, you should always prioritize getting a powerful PC over getting a console. I, I s-
That brings us to actually Steam Machine. Did you see the recent announcements for it?
I'm not keeping up with it. What's it about? Does it is
You know
exclusive?
how
Yeah.
you know how they designed, like how they made Steam Deck and it was so successful. Like Steam usually doesn't make hardware, but they made and one of the aspects of it that worked really well is the Linux based Steam OS they made. Right. And this क्योंकि one of the major problems when entering this market for any competitor, nobody can compete with these people, right? PlayStation या फिर Xbox, क्योंकि they have existing operating systems जो पहले से standardized हैं and they are proprietary operating systems, so you cannot use them. So like, and game developers जब games बनाते हैं, they make them with these consoles in mind for them, so there cannot be any competition. And like which has kind of, I guess, resulted in some shitty practices too. Like there is this very stupid thing in PlayStation which I found out from Yash. Like they've been doing it for years. After buying a PlayStation, you cannot even after you buy games usme, to play games online, you have to pay a subscription.
What the hell? What is that machine for then?
You have to pay a subscription to play online, man.
Damn.
The Steam machine, it uses Steam OS, the same thing that the Steam Deck uses. It has a desktop mode and it has a convenient gaming wala mode, which is what people are used to. And one of the major appeals of something like this is also just that people like to buy their games in one place, right? And most of the time, I think they buy them on Steam. Steam is the most popular marketplace to buy games, and of course, like I don't know if you know that, but they are also making. I don't know if it's open source, but they are making it available for anybody to use. It's the Steam OS. It like creates a healthy competition too. It's weird, like how beloved a company Steam is for how huge it is, and it's almost a fucking monopoly. It's like it almost feels like it's being good, so good at the goodwill of one man who just owns the company.
But like if it gets passed around anytime, it might become a disaster.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's that's the fear. Like, what happens after him? You- like, I don't know how Apple was perceived before Steve Jobs died, but I would say that it has lost some of its prestige over the years as it has
Yeah.
made some shit products.
And speaking of which, have you heard कि एक what would I name? Crucial or no? What the hell? One of the three main RAM manufacturers just shut down their customer market few days ago.
I heard something like that.
Micron. And already the RAM prices were raising really quickly because all the RAM manufacturers are providing the RAM to the data centers and stuff, and so the RAM are going out of stock really fast. And on top of that, now 1/3 of the market is gone because they are completely shutting down their customer market. And I bought the RAM when I built my PC. It was already 4 times the price, it was few months ago. So I still bought it at the peak of its like all-time price, which was 20,000. I bought 32 GB RAM at 20,000. Currently, that same RAM is hovering between 60 to 70,000.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's tripled in a single month or so.
I told you to make that PC as soon as possible, although you kept procrastinating.
I still bought it at a reasonable price, man, and it has like gone crazy, and it's going to go crazy even in the coming 2 to 3 years. Like it will keep rising because currently अभी तक माइक्रॉन के सप्लाई है मार्केट में. उनका सप्लाई रुकने में अभी नेक्स्ट ईयर तक का टाइम लगेगा when the Micron supply stops. And जैसे वो स्टॉप होता है एकदम से पूरा प्राइस, मतलब it will become a luxury to own a PC. I'm telling you, you can mark my words on this. इनके प्राइस PC का प्राइस will shoot up so much. Like it's already very expensive. Like it took me like 1.5 lakhs almost to get this PC built, and that's very expensive for an like, even if it's a utility item, it's still very expensive. And I'm saying its price is going to double. So 3 lakhs for a PC, nobody is paying that. Like for a basic PC, like it's not something like that crazy or anything. Nobody is going to pay that much.
That's true.
So I think that will also affect these consoles and stuff also, because RAM is used everywhere, not just PC. I believe in Xbox, PlayStation, Steam machine, even in phones. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, prices in general are getting very unpredictable. Like, by all these, I guess, colliding factors, the whole AI thing and the tune bola and the random tariffs.
But like those things, tariffs and AI thing, these are fluctuating the prices, right? It rises, it falls, it rises, and that kind of thing. But currently what's happening is the supply, because it is directed towards data centers, the prices are rising steadily.
Data centers, you mean the demand that is increasing because of this AI thing, right?
No, data center, I mean the literal data centers. A lot of money is going into building these facilities which like make the hardware for AI, for running AI.
Why? That's what I meant.
Oh.
Well, that's still like dependent on this hype around AI, right?
Yeah,
trying to
like
grow bigger.
If you've read current, there is a term called AI bubble, which is that companies are investing much more than their own worth into AI in hopes that like a few years down the line, it's going to give them a lot of profit, which will cover all this debt which they are going currently in.
It feels like such a it feels so unlikely that they're going to be able to come up with anything.
The thing is, if they don't come up with anything, the whole economy is going to crash. Because if you see the current biggest stock is of Nvidia, and the AI stuff is covering the 70% of stock market currently, which is huge. That's like, if AI thing fails, that will completely crash the market. And like, you remember that 2008 crash? Not remember, but do you know about that stock market crash in
Yeah.
2008? It was because the housing market was oversaturated. People overinvested in it, and then it crashed. It will be bigger than that. Like, at least expected to be bigger than that if it actually does not pay out as well.
Damn.
So it not like, people are waiting for the AI bubble to be over so that this, just to get over this shit. But at the same time, if it does pop out and it does not pay out, it will be equally as bad for the whole economy for at least a few years. I don't know how long, but it will be bad.
I guess people will lose jobs.
I mean, they are losing jobs either way. That's the sad part. If AI does become successful, they will get replaced. If it doesn't get successful, the economy crashes and they lose their job. It's a lose-lose situation.
And it's all so fucking made up.
Yeah, and the thing is, the
Like,
investor.
it's like the economy crashes and like everybody's suffering except these very rich people, of course. But there's this thought in the back of your head, if everybody just agrees for a point पर, okay, let's just forget how much everybody owes to everybody else and try to reset this thing. This
That's
that's
there's
I
one
don't
joke.
know, maybe it's a stupid thing to say.
That's not stupid. There is a very popular joke in which currently the whole world debt is said to be like few $1 trillion or something. Like, the whole world is in few $1 trillion debt, and people ask, like, who do we owe to? Are they like Deceptrons or something, like in Matrix or something? Who are we owing this money to? And the answer to that is, we owe each other, right? One country owes debt to some other country and that kind of thing. And to work around that, if you have heard that Trump is like actively trying to drop its currency's value, the dollar value. He has been currently putting out values and acting like stupidly in the foreign market so that the dollar value crashes, and he wants to like shift to cryptocurrency so that that is kind of cancelled out. This thing my uncle explained to me. Actually, I don't know very well about it, but this is what my uncle explained to me. Because America owes a lot of debt to some countries like Japan or stuff, what it's trying to do is to drop its dollar's value. And because if the dollar की value गिर जाती है, then it is much more easier to pay the debt or something like that. And they want to shift from dollar to cryptocurrency, because if you are using Bitcoin and stuff, the transactions are not what can I say, the main thing about cryptocurrency is that transactions cannot be tracked, and it makes doing illegal transactions and having like transferring money in black and converting black money to white money is very simple using cryptocurrency. That's why it is the ultra rich people.
Is that something like actual academics are saying, or is that Because it's not something I've heard of before, and it kind of sounds more like a conspiracy theory.
I don't know. I have not done my research, but my like uncle who is very invested in stock market and stuff, and he's been doing it for 20 years. Like I generally trust his words because he knows what he's talking about generally.
But he's not very into politics, right?
I mean, politics is involved when you're dealing with stock market. You can't just look at statistics. You have to see like what person is trying to do what, and generally the
But you
top
are
one
looking
percent
at
is.
from it very financially motivated lens, right?
Hmm.
Like a very narrow lens.
I
I
get
don't
that,
know.
but like the politicians are driven by money and making as much. At least the ones in America, they are completely driven by capitalists and stuff. So it
Did you see that video I sent Abhi recently about a car on the group?
I don't know what you're talking about. What
It's
car?
a car. It's an electric car Xiaomi has made.
Oh right, that video. I did not watch it, but I guess you
And it
guys.
is, I mean, I'm not that into cars, but like an interesting thing about that car is that it is a very well made
Oh,
car at a very affordable price, relatively affordable price.
the Xiaomi is doing that thing which they do with phones with cars.
I'm not that familiar with unke phone, but I guess
They have this reputation, right? That they get all the premium aspects of the phone into a very cheap price. That's what Xiaomi.
that is kind of like, I feel that that is kind of the a lot of the times it is a reputation China has developed,
Yeah.
because their main contribution to technology, I don't know how they do it. It's assuming that, but like their main contribution to technology is making it cheaper.
I mean, they do it because all the manufacturing in the whole world is done in China. All the factories and everything is mostly present in China itself. That's why they make it for cheap. That's what Trump was pushing for like Apple to create their manufacturing centers in America itself, so they can not be dependent on China. But that's a very ambitious dream, I guess.
That's also kind of like, yeah. So like it's a the point that guy was making in the video was that it's a way better car at a way better price than any car available in this country right now.
Wait, that car is
But
launching in India?
this country, US,
Oh, okay.
uh, if Teslas are way too expensive and all other cars are also way too expensive. But this car, the only reason it cannot be like sold in this country, they're kind of like political in nature. I don't know if there are other factors to it too, but of course there's tariffs. Like that is going to immediately increase its price. And the way I've always understood tariffs is, because tariffs as Indians, it's something that we have always experienced, like things from outside being very expensive. The entire point of tariffs in my understanding, is to diminish competition from other countries. To like allow the like for a developing country, I guess it would be to allow uh, the country to develop things of its own, I guess. And still, the best we could come up with was Blinkit. But yeah, so like we know from experience that in our case, the case like we never got an in-house phone manufacturer.
Yeah, we don't.
And we just end up having to buy these very expensive phones.
Anyways, a lot of, what can I say, tech talk,
Yeah.
technological, political related talk we have. What are these things you have written? Slaughterhouse
Um,
5, Raman Raghav 2.0, Homebound
so I
City
finished
on
this
Fire.
book a few days ago.
What?
Sl- I finished this listening to this audiobook a few days ago.
Oh.
Slaughterhouse 5. Like, this is something I do, I've told you. When I'm working
Hmm.
and like I sometimes like try to listen to audiobooks while I'm uh, doing my job. So this is a weird uh, anti-war book. It starts with this guy, this author, talking about wanting to write this book about the experience he had during the war as a soldier,
Hmm.
right? And like he has never been able to kind of put into words. The first like few chapters are like this author dealing with this these thoughts of how he should approach it.
Hmm.
And then he starts talking about this guy he knew from war, Billy. I initially thought, okay, I like to go into things blind, right? Most of the time. I initially thought that, wait, is it non-fiction? So I looked it up. It said it's fiction. It started getting into some weird territories, which made me doubt it. But like, yeah, but as you go on in the book, you're pretty sure that it's a sci-fi book, which it takes an interesting turn with this guy who wasn't a particularly brave, courageous guy, but it's like it's his story. It's the story of his life
Hmm.
in a non-linear fashion. It's shown as him time traveling between the different stages of his life. It's
Hmm.
difficult to describe. It's like at a point he's abducted by aliens, where this book is also very obsessed with the concept of sci-fi. Like you can see that this like it references a lot of sci-fi.
Hmm.
fiction and like sci-fi books, and it talks about this sort of culture of sci-fi, and it also like yeah, gets abducted by aliens, where he finds out these aliens perceive time differently and death differently, and that's kind of used to look at his experiences in war and everywhere else, and basically depicting the trying to show the absurdity of it. Or it was a nice book. Have you been reading anything recently?
No. No reading, no watching. Just playing games and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Though I've been getting really frustrated. I was getting pretty frustrated because uh, from work, it was getting really hectic, and also in weekends like got really occupied with stuff. At least in the last weekend, I was really occupied, and even like after returning home, I was not able to. I was too tired to play anything, so I was getting really frustrated. But I think this weekend I have relaxed a bit from Dark Souls. Which is a very weird thing to say because I'm saying that I was overworked and stressed, but then I played a stressful game and I got relaxed.
I, Hatsu rakh le.
Ah, Atsu. When yesterday I was returning from grandpa's home and I saw that गार्ड भी जो बैठते नहीं गेट पे लाइक टू मेक श्योर मतलब वो चेक करने के लिए कौन कॉलोनी के अंदर आ रहा है कौन बाहर जा रहा है वो गार्ड बैठे हुए थे वो अपने सामने एक छोटा सा फायर टाइप का जलाए हुए थे फॉर हीट एंड उनके साथ एक डॉग बैठा हुआ था उनके साथ में पूरा स्नगल करके एंड आई हैव सीन दैट डॉग बिफोर उनके साथ ही वो आई थिंक वो गार्ड के साथ रेगुलरली रात में बैठता है वहीं पे उनके साथ में दैट्स सो होलसम टू लुक एट इट ऑलवेज वार्म्स माई हार्ट उन दोनों का ऐसे बैठ के वहाँ पे बैठे हुए देख के हर बार
Yeah.
I think the world is lacking a lot of cats and dogs right now. Like not lacking. I mean, क्या बोलेंगे? We are
Your
taking
world is lacking.
no, not
Your
my word.
your
No, no,
world.
no. What I mean is, we had taken animals and stuff for granted. I think because previously इतने वो नहीं थे, stag नहीं थे, homes वगैरह इतने like currently there is a thing called concrete jungle, right? पहले फिर भी ओपन था घर दूर दूर थे इतने ज़्यादा कंजस्टेड में तरीके से नहीं रहते तो फिर भी like street dogs and stuff were quite common. Now that we have like built so many roads and buildings, they are reducing quite a lot.
While we are on that subject,
Uh,
do you know what else AI is ruining?
AI? No? What?
AI is ruining cat videos
Oh, yes.
and
I-
animal videos in general. And it's
They- I have seen that. मैं घर पे एक मेरे ग्रैंडपा के घर पे एक मेड आके काम करती है उनका एक छोटा सा बच्चा है आई थिंक 3-4 साल का और समथिंग अपने साथ लेके आती है उसको एंड वो बैठ के वीडियो यूट्यूब पे शॉर्ट्स देखता रहता है पूरे टाइम विच इज़ ऑलरेडी डिस्टोपियन बट व्हाट इज़ इवन मोर डिस्टोपियन कि सारे वीडियोज जो देखता सब AI जनरेटेड थे ऑल द वीडियोज ही वॉज वॉचिंग वॉज AI जनरेटेड
like,
जिसकी
what do you
फीड में
mean
आ रहा
AI
था वो
generated?
हाँ
Like what kind of AI generated?
I mean, cats and
Like
dogs
cartoons?
videos, मतलब बातें करते you know how kids like animals talking. That's why Jungle Book and
No,
that kind
no.
of.
Yeah, that's very annoying. Pranat talks about it too. He says his mom keeps watching those. Uh, what I am talking about is, an appeal of these cat, dog, or animal videos is You watch those videos and like they do something weird and wholesome, and you feel that the world is a little more magical after that.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Now, people are just faking that with AI.
Hmm.
People are making fake cat videos with AI. And it's getting difficult to tell.
Yeah, I do get that. And one like thing I noticed कि एक चीज होता है कि you generate a whole video from scratch from AI, which is in which you can tell if it is AI or not because there are discrepancies in it. But the another thing what you can do, you can take an existing video and modify a bit to create a similar video using AI. And when you do that, it is very hard to tell if it is AI generated or not. So what these people, what you're suggesting, are do is that they take an existing video, which is an original video, and taking that reference, they create AI videos which are slightly different, and that makes them really hard to tell if they're AI generated or not.
Makes sense.
And yes, that is dystopian. I think there is going to be a point, like at least for me, I have stopped using all social media for this very reason that it is no longer enjoyable. There is a lot of doom posting kind of things, like yeah, and they're criticizing stuff, but it's like less criticizing, more like just you know what doom posting is? It's like just complaining about stuff without thinking about any solution at all. That's what I call doom posting. So there's a lot of
Like
that.
what I'm doing here.
Nahi, I think in podcast it's fine because we're discussing kind of, but no, the content I'm referring to is specifically made to like enrage people, like to gather what's the word, engagement, engagement bait kind of, like to trigger people and farm engagement from that, like they specifically, even if the thing is not as bad as they make it sound to be, like they will make rageful titles, and the, how the articles try to make their titles catchy with clickbait and stuff. Look, like if even if it is not clickbait, their purpose is to make people angry, and so they click on the post. That is what I'm referring to.
Hmm.
So there is a lot of that kind of stuff, and of course AI generated stuff. So I've completely cut off from YouTube and even Reddit. I used to go through Reddit because at least that felt kind of genuine. Like that was actually people discussing different. And in Reddit, I was mainly focused on specific communities. Like in my Genshin community, I like to go through it, and other kind of specific communities. I used to surf around, but I think at this point that even that is not enjoyable anymore. So I don't use social media at all these days. And what I was saying is that I think there are a point will come that everybody would just stop. Like it won't be a thing you would want to do at all. Like कैसे बताऊं मैं इसको? It will become a complete shithole, and people will just avoid using it at all. I think, like people have stopped using
Like
Twitter and stuff. I think at like to some extent. I think.
people haven't stopped using Twitter.
Wait, what? I thought.
Oh, you're talking about the Elon Musk takeover?
Yeah, I thought after that
No,
people like migrated over to Blue Sky and like or just stopped using
that's
that
a
platform kind of.
very small population migrated to Blue Sky. Like,
Mm.
but like, and it was like it's become its own kind of thing where a lot of politics doesn't necessarily happen, but if you want to keep up with what's going on,
Mm.
Twitter is still the place for that.
Mm.
Anyway, I watched Raman Raghav 2.0.
What is that?
This is an Anurag Kashyap film. Have you ever heard of Raman Raghav?
No.
He was a, I guess, famous serial killer,
Oh.
Indian serial killer. This film is about a copycat of that serial killer.
How was it?
It was well made, but I personally I did not like it for some reasons. I found the film a little gross.
In what way?
So it's about this very horrible man. Right, this genuinely horrible man who does horrible things to people. At one point in the film, it's kind of insinuated that he used to rape his sister when they were younger.
Okay.
And then it goes on and there's another character of this policeman who is like also kind of has the traits of a psychopath, but I mean he doesn't do a very good job at keeping it together, but like I guess it also tries to do this dichotomy between class. Okay, this guy is a poor man, the other is a policeman in a better position. But after showing how horrible these people are, it tries to become, it ultimately tries to be this homoerotic romance between these two characters.
Like,
Their admiration for each other. Like it's not overtly sexual in any way.
like
but,
Death Note, you are
you
saying.
know,
Kind of like in that
I
fashion.
guess. I guess. But like it's. I was talking with Vidhu about it a few days ago and telling him about my frustrations with it. And in that moment, I came up with an analogy which I feel that it explains my frustration pretty well. It's like, you know about the Epstein files, vagera, right? And you know about like the whole Trump situation where like people think he's in the Epstein file. There are pictures of them together. They're like the. So imagine making a film about Trump and Epstein. They were friends, right? Trump and Epstein, and you make that film focus on their homoerotic romance instead of how horrible people they are. Like,
I get what you mean. Then
it's like a very weird thing to kind of focus on after you establish that.
it kind of like gives me the same feel as that movie like for the clips you showed me, Animal, in which like they overtly say that these are like what's the word, misogynistic people, but they also fantasize it kind of. Is it in that way that they show that these are horrible people, but it appeal to some
No,
kind?
I don't think it. Like, okay, like the thing about Animal is that I'm able to enjoy that film because I'm able to think that the guy who made this is just an idiot, right?
Hmm.
Like he like anybody who like does that alpha male shit, he's an idiot. I don't think that Anurag Kashyap here is trying to justify what this character does. He's just like I don't know, what would you say? Like w- I'm not able to find the right words here. It's like focusing on a very weird thing in a story about a very horrible person.
Hmm.
It's like he's not even trying to say that this is not a horrible person. It's like it feels worse because you know those people who would look at Andrew Tate and be like, okay, sure, he did those and said those horrible things, but look at the nice things he said.
I see. Okay. Just a second. Yeah, go on.
Then I also watched Homebound. I've been waiting to watch this film for a long time.
What is it about?
I didn't read much into what it was about, even though I was anticipating. It's a film by Neeraj Ghaiwan.
Hmm?
Have you heard of the film Masan?
Masan? No.
So like Masan was a very acclaimed film from 2015 or 16 कुछ उस time से, and this is I think उसके बाद से उसकी he hasn't made any feature films. I could be wrong, but it's a film by him,
Hmm.
and it
And-
actively deals with the nature of casteism in India
Hmm.
and how it affects people. And like it also shows how it impacted these people specifically during the lockdown situation.
How did it affect them? I'm like just curious. Like what aspect did they show?
It takes inspiration from a very from an actual story.
Hmm.
And like half of the film pretty much it's like it doesn't even happen in COVID. It's this entire thing of like these two young characters dealing with casteism on the regular, right? Like they're having difficulty finding jobs or कहीं पे भी कुछ भी, and this stuff like that. And uh, at some point they end up kind of like हार मान के they go to the city to work in a factory,
Hmm.
and तभी कुछ महीनों में लॉकडाउन हो जाता है. Your mic is making noises.
अभी अभी आ रही है आवाज सही से?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. and they have difficulties coming back to the क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट तो बोल देती है दैट ओके ठीक है सब घर चले जाओ. First, they don't even have food to eat because they are on such a low income. They don't have a place to live, and since it's a
रहने दो
lockdown,
यहाँ
they
पे.
don't even have
यहाँ पे रहने
a
दो.
way to go back
हाँ.
to their homes. So at a point, they just find themselves having to just walk
Hmm.
all the way, and it's from an actual story. So I mean, do you want me to spoil it?
Yeah, sure.
So in that process, one of the guys dies, one of those friends, and it goes into detail. I did not like the film it was a nice film. I liked the film. I did not like it as much as I would have expected, liked to. It felt a little Bollywoody. It felt a tiny bit melodramatic. But if you ever feel like watching a film with your mom, this would be a nice film to watch.
Okay.
And I really wanted to support this film by going to the theater, but I was not able to because I was here.
Oh, on that note, Markiplier released a new trailer for his movie
What movie?
Iron Lung.
Ah, you talked about it a long time ago.
Yeah, I really want to watch this movie, but I don't think it will be releasing in India.
Why? It's a video game adaptation, right?
Yeah, the video game was only 1 hour long, and it was an indie game, and he made a movie about it. But that game was really cool, and from what I've seen, Markiplier's previous medias, like he has created some, what can I say, like a series kind of thing, but not really. Like it's a YouTube series, which are fun. Like those are not really like web series and stuff. Of course, it's a very low budget media what he creates, but it is still very enjoyable. Like I liked it personally. So when I heard that he's making a movie, I was actually excited for it.
Man, he's such a handsome guy.
Oh. I do recommend you check it out, the trailer at least, if you're interested in watching it.
I'm not a Markiplier fan, so I don't think this would be for me.
Yeah, I get that, but still, like if it will be in theaters in America, right? So you do have an opportunity to watch it. That's why I'm saying
I'm not going to this theater near me again after that Chainsaw Man experience.
Then it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I would have minded going to the theater to watch this. Yuki, I'll just like going to the theater. But this theater kind of sucks.
What?
So, City on Fire. It's a Hong Kong film.
Oh.
This is the most recent film I have watched. Uh, it is a very colorful film.
Oh.
Looks really pretty, and it follows this guy who's undercover into working for the police.
Hmm.
His uncle is in the police, and he keeps insisting that he does undercover work, and this guy doesn't want to do be an undercover agent anymore, because we are made aware of a history like the times he has tried to be an undercover agent, like he gets close to these people he's supposed to be catching, like finding evidence against and stuff like that, and he develops a bond with them, and like he ends up having it's not funny, Undu, it's traumatic.
Okay.
I mean, I did say it in a funny way. Realized as I was saying it.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but yeah, like he uh, has these traumatic experiences from the past of having to, like, his friends, like little friends he has made in the process, getting shot in front of him because of him.
Hmm.
And it like creates this interesting world around this person where he's working for the gangs illegally. He's working for his uncle specifically.
Hmm.
Nobody else knows about it in the police. So a lot of detectives are after him too.
Hmm.
And kyunki the other guy is a shithead, even when his uncle tries to tell him ki this is my guy, he won't stop.
Hmm.
Kyunki like he's like I need like he's like a stuck up person. Like it also like a good anti cop film in that way.
Hmm.
Uh, and then there's also this film about this guy getting stretched thin from all directions. He also has this woman who he wants to marry, but because of all this, he's not able to attend to her.
Hmm.
It's a well-made film. Yeah, that's all the media from me.
Fun media. Maybe I should start watching some stuff too.
Maybe we should start the recommendation thing again now that you have a gaming PC.
You know what my current plan is? My current plan is I want to like slowly learn game dev and somehow be able to learn and earn a living out of that. I don't know how ambitious that is, but I want to like kind of fuck around and find out.
I am looking forward to how you go about this.
Yeah, but I'm not just
We,
looking to do it as a hobby. I do want to make it a like commercial thing. This game dev.
you finally also like have the resources to do these things that you want to do.
Yeah. And like my dad gets pretty confused when like he asks me like what other company I want to go to, what exams am I preparing for, and I feel so demotivated with that idea just because how dystopian the current corporate world is, that I never feel motivated to go for any other company or bigger package or anything like that. Because no matter how much I earn, I will still be working under some greedy corporate person, and I don't see how I can be happy with that, or like satisfied with that kind of life. I think even if I get a better job, I would still always aim to do have something on my own and be able to like earn money on like with my own product, and so I can give middle finger to anybody who tries to oppress me.
What the fuck? Who wants the power of the middle finger? Okay, that's the. um, you do you though. Yeah, but like. I was going to ask you. So, do you have any like objectives in your head? Ki like you're planning to participate in a
No, I
certain
think
game jam by.
no. I think more what my strategy would be as what I did with PC building. I will just try to rope myself into its culture. I will try to get myself involved, get interested, and once I get the momentum, I know I will find out like what things I have to participate, what I have to do. Currently, I have not looked into it. I don't have that momentum, but I know I have to build that momentum, and I'll figure it out along the way. And like yeah, as you're asking about game jam and stuff, I don't think I need to focus on that. I think if I just like start learning all the things around it and get into it, kind of, I will like that is enough for the time being, I
Oh
think.
fuck! I forgot to talk about some important stuff that happened.
Oh, what happened?
I fucking applied for a PhDs, man.
Oh right. How did it go?
But sorry to interrupt you. You go
No,
on.
mera ho gaya. I have nothing more to say about that. You can continue with. Yeah.
It was very stressful. That's all. I don't know what's going to happen.
How many
I
places
just,
have you applied to currently?
while applying, like currently तो क्या अब मैं और जगह apply नहीं करूँगा. I guess 8 जगह.
Hmm.
But like while applying, I was kind of motivated. I was stressed. I was demoralized. I was still kind of had this image in my head कि okay, I'll be working as a PhD student
Hmm.
in one of these places कहीं पर next year. After I've done that, the stress is gone and my head has room to think.
Hmm.
It's back to thinking about, do I really want that? Okay. I mean, I don't even know what I would do if not that, but it's kind of like then I start again thinking about how I should be working on my next YouTube video. Maybe that will be an out. kind of similar to how you're thinking about your game.
Yeah, I think, but like you have to this right, because the PhD thing you can only do it right now, right? Like you can't delay it, or like the opportunity will be gone.
No, of course. I don't think I would like uh, do uh, skip a fucking opportunity to take a PhD to
Yeah,
just attempt a career in YouTube without any business.
yeah, that's the thing. Like generally, what I've learned, the best way to go about it is you have to handle both. One side, you have to have that like kind of support that even if it takes time and doesn't work out immediately, you have something going for you, which won't, which will have you kind of take you out of stress, that you are not completely out of luck if this YouTube thing doesn't work out, right? And while having that support, you are much more able to focus freely. Like your mind will be free when you focus on that creative part of life.
Yeah, and I also had this uh, presentation. I presented my what I have been working on for the first time in the lab. I was very anxious about it. It went better than I expected.
Uh-huh.
But then I later started thinking about it. Maybe then I was thinking about maybe it didn't go as good as I thought it did.
You know, when I was in college, after every exam, any like semester exam and stuff, we would always go out to eat at this Priya hotel. We had this place. We always went to go
Aloo paratha.
Aloo Paratha place, yes. And Varun and others would always get angry at me because I would constantly be thinking about how I did in that exam we just gave. But all they would be just enjoying their time there. And
Yeah, I hate people like that.
ah,
They're so fucking annoying. Answers match करने लगते हैं वो.
that's what I did. That's I.
What?
Yes.
You fucking asshole.
Ah, I mean, I spent my entire couple of days, I guess not that much, but still, entire couple of days into doing good on that exam. I want to be reassured that I actually did good in that exam, and you just want me to forget about it, like कि हाँ हो गया अब तो छोड़ो उसे.
Find the reassurance within yourself.
Oh. No, I want to match it on my question paper.
बुद्धा ने बोला था.
He did not give semester exams. He doesn't know. Anyways, I guess let's end the podcast now. We don't have anything
Yeah.
else here, right? Yeah.
Nah, that's it.
Okay then.
Okay, good now.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
I'm going to sleep.